NHL trade deadline day, obviously a very fun one. We're patiently waiting. Joe Yerdon, NHL.com here. The big story today will be Evander Kane. What's, I guess, the best case scenario and the worst case scenario for the Sabres? Because a lot of speculation going on right now.
Well, the best case scenario is that Jason Botterill gets his wish list fulfilled. He gets his first-round pick, he gets his prospect, and he gets his player. I think that's the best case scenario. Rick Nash, that deal kind of sets the table for it. Worst case scenario, I think nothing happens and you're left holding the bag going into the summer. But the other worst case scenario is, there's a couple of them, is that the trade is bad and the return is not good and they're kind of left holding the bag in a different way.
Is it almost a lose-lose, though? Because if that happens, if you have to give Kane away for maybe less than market value, but you also can't hold on to him because you don't get anything out of it, I guess what's the better losing scenario? I mean, for me, I think you just got to make whatever move you can get.
Yeah, I would think that you have to get something in return for a guy that you're probably going to lose in the summer. I think there's... I don't think that there's a way that Evander Kane wants to hang around here, given how things have gone. He wants to stick around for a long-term thing. But if there's any chance of getting something in return, I mean, we're not talking take a 7th-round pick and walk away with it kind of thing. But if you can massage the deal out, make it work somehow, then I think you have to pull that trigger if you have to.
When we look at some of the other players, obviously Evander Kane is going to be the guy that gets the headlines today, regardless of what happens with him. Who else could be moved? I mean, to me, it just seems like any unrestricted free agent, whether it's Josh Georges, honestly, whoever it is, Pouliot, are those the guys who we could likely see dealt?
Yeah, I would say Pouliot's a guy that you're probably going to see go. He's had a good season. He is a useful player. He plays pretty solid defensively. I mean, given everything that's gone wrong here this year, he's been one of the bright spots. Georges is a guy who, if there's a team that needs some extra defensive help, somebody who can step in as like an 8th guy, 7th, 8th guy in the playoffs, that's great. Everybody was keeping an eye on goaltending, but I just don't see a goaltending market out there. So I don't think we're going to see Leonard and Johnson go anywhere. But weirder things have happened. It's the trade deadline. Things get crazy at around 3.
Another guy who could be dealt, someone like Justin Falk. He could be a depth defenseman to a team. But then you look at players who are under contract. I'm not expecting this. I don't really think the fans are expecting anybody under contract really goes either. But would there maybe be someone who could surprise us, who could be moved?
I think if you're going to go outside the box here, I think maybe Erasmus Ristolainen's a guy who could garner interest. I know everybody settled down.
I saw you tweeted about that yesterday.
But it's, to me, if you're looking to make a splash and you're looking to get some kind of big return here and shake up the room a little bit, he's maybe a guy that you can point at because he's young. The contract's not so bad. It's for a few years, so he's established, and you're going to get something big in return for him.
I know we can't predict the future as much as we might like to pretend that we can. We're looking at the clock now. It's about 11:30. We've got 3.5 hours. Do you think that they get something done from now until 3 o'clock?
Yeah, I think we are going to see Kane go somewhere else. I think we'll see Pouliot end up somewhere else. The question is going to be what comes back in return and how much Rochester is going to have to take a hit on things in order to help the Sabres continue to play games after the deadline.
All right, we have donuts in the media room, so we're going to go eat those donuts. He's got a radio hit to do, and we'll be talking to you all day. Thanks for joining us. Thanks, Joe.